One day, while looking for a part-time job, I saw a recruitment ad that was looking for an assistant for a YouTube channel. The salary was $200 a day. I was excited and applied right away, and asked my friend Matthew to come with me. A few days later, we decided to meet the YouTuber nearby. We got into his car and drove almost 2 hours to an abandoned factory in some remote area. When we arrived, there were other people there as well. They also came for the recruitment, and there were about 4 of them, and we exchanged greetings with one another. A moment later, the YouTuber walked over wearing a mask and holding axes in each hand. We watched him nervously, and he introduced himself as a YouTuber who shoots horror videos. He showed us his channel, but the number of subscribers was very low, less than 100. I wanted to know what this was all about, but I thought he was a person with a lot of money and just ignored it. But I should have noticed. He set up the camera and started explaining to us.
I'm an axe murderer, and you guys will be murdered by me today. Don't touch your phone once the shooting starts. Don't go outside.
Suddenly, the tone of his voice turned cold, and I got goosebumps. He said,
"Now the night of the death begins."
Immediately, he came running at breakneck speed and began slashing down a man frantically with an axe. The man shouted,
"Ah! I was really hit. This is a real axe."
Blood splattered with a thud, and an ear-splitting scream shook the building. At that moment, my legs felt weak and almost fell down, and the screaming sound of others was ear-shattering. While I was shaking, Matthew, who was next to me, said,
"Hey, we're done."
People ran to the entrance of the abandoned factory and tried to open the door, but it was locked. People knocked on the door frantically asking for help, but no one was around. People took out their cell phones and tried to call the police, but every time they did, the man knocked them down with his axe. I started racking my brain like crazy. I had never been so focused in my life. If this continues, everyone in here will die within 10 minutes. In the end, there was only one way. It was to steal the man's axe. I said quietly to Matthew,
"If we take the axe, then we win."
Matthew cried,
"Our heads will be split in 2 first."
Looking at Matthew, I said,
"Even if we stay still, we will die anyway. The 2 of us, let's seize his hands at the same time."
In the meantime, the psycho was knocking down people with his axe in a flash. Several people were bleeding and moaning on the floor. At that time, a man attacked the psycho, and the 2 started fighting. At that moment, I told Matthew,
"Hold his left hand."
Matthew and I ran frantically and grabbed the psycho's hands. Then he struggled like mad, and I managed to snatch away one axe from his hand. But Matthew missed his hand, and the psycho raised his axe and hit Matthew.
"Ah!"
Matthew's scream infuriated me, and I slammed the psycho's back with all my might with the axe. He groaned and fell to the floor. I continued to hit him with the axe with all my might, and he fell, bleeding, and never got up again. I gasped for breath and called the police, and when the police arrived shortly after, the scene was horrendous. 2 people died, and 2 were seriously injured. Matthew was seriously injured, and they were all taken away by an ambulance. The psycho was dead. The police checked on the camera he was filming, which vividly recorded scenes of people being murdered by an axe. The police were in great shock. I searched for his YouTube channel that the psycho had told me about. There were about 3 videos uploaded, but all of them were videos of him attacking many people with an axe. In the video, he was running with an axe, chasing people. Then the screen went black, only the dull sound of the axe hitting and people screaming. Then, at the end, the man appeared on the screen again, holding an axe stained with blood.
If you're curious about the actual video, click on the link in the description. You can see the actual murder scene for $100.
And I could see people lying down far away. When I entered the link, a strange website appeared with a number of actual videos uploaded. I informed the police about this, and they began to search for additional victims. I don't know what happened after that. Much time has passed, and Matthew and I are still friends, but he still shudders when he thinks of that day, and he still has a big scar on his shoulder.